Let's talk about postnuptial agreements. Many people know the phrase prenuptial agreements. That's when folks are about to get married and they want to have a contract that sets out what they'll do in the event of divorce. A postnup is a different animal. There's some event that has occurred after the marriage, right? Anytime after the marriage. Could be 1 year, 2 years, 20 years, 30 years. Some event that has occurred that is causing at least one of the parties to say, I want to renegotiate. And so a postnup is the opportunity for the parties to contract how they're going to manage things going forward. People think about postnups, about having one, when something has occurred. We'll go with the most common example, although there are plenty of examples. The spouses have found out that one of them has been unfaithful in the marriage, and the aggrieved spouse really doesn't want to get a divorce. That's not where they're at. They can see a path through towards staying together. That would be their preference. And the spouse who has stepped out is of the same mind. They would rather not lose the marriage at that point. They are willing to work through negotiation on what they can do to remedy, to rectify the situation. Postnuptial agreement is a contract between people. There's a constitutional provision that says that we have the right to contract the way that we want unless it's void to public policy. So a postnup can be very broad. You can include pretty much anything in there, again, so long as it's not void as to public policy. And truly in my 35 years, I haven't seen anybody suggest something that would run afoul of community standards like that. So you can talk about what would alimony look like, what would the transfer of property, any property, right? Whether it's business, houses, rental property, cars, bank accounts, stock accounts, anything is fair game in a postnup. Just really what you're looking to do is come to a place where this seems to be the right answer in resolving whatever created the conflict in the first place. The mistakes that people can make in a postnup are, think about a settlement agreement, right? When people are getting a divorce, sometimes they think they get along well, they understand each other, and it can be kind of a vague document. There are some arguments for having a vague document in a settlement agreement if it makes it more likely that people come together for an agreement, if there isn't a whole lot of time frame involved in having different understandings over time. Not so in a postnup. Because of the nature of what created the need for the postnup in the first place, the most common mistake in creating a postnup is having a vague document. It needs to be crystal clear. Because the two elements of a postnup are, one, what are you going to do right now to make it right? Let's say that somebody has stepped out and the aggrieved spouse says, I want you to put the money back into my account that you spent on your at one time significant other. There's an event that occurs right then. It's an immediate event. You can tell if the money transfers and if it's in a separate account. But the other part about a postnup that often comes up is, and if you do this again, here's what will happen. That event is necessarily in the future, right? So at that point, as you're drafting it, you don't know if that event might occur in the future in 6 months, 1 year, 20 years. So it's essential to have that future event just as clear as it possibly can be. Exactly what you mean. What do you mean would be the event that fit within your concept of what should not happen? And what exactly do you mean by the remedy you're expecting to achieve should that event occur? None of that can be vague, because if that event occurs, you guys are going to be at odds necessarily, right? And so back to the phrase, a good fence builds good neighbors. This is a fence that needs to have, what is it called, razor wire? A very strong fence. If you're in the situation where you're thinking maybe a postnup is the right direction to take, give us a call. There's a lot to work through there. Even just the threshold issue of whether or not the postnup is the right answer. Give us a call. Let us know what's going on. Let us help you work through it. We're here to help.